Looking ahead to some of the top available prospects in the 2024 class, Williams and Nwaneri, he's the top D lineman in the country. What's ahead as his recruitment ramps up?
Yeah, so he's got a couple visits locked in. He's going to visit Oklahoma the first weekend of March. That's going to be a big recruiting weekend for the Sooners. I know some other programs are really lining up that weekend to be a big one as well. So Oklahoma going to get the #1 defensive lineman in the country on campus for that weekend. It's the first weekend coming out of the dead period as no college visits are being taken this month. And he's also got Colorado locked in for the spring game. He just recently announced his offer from Colorado, but he's been building a relationship with defensive ends coach Nick Williams for a while behind the scenes, and he's going to go visit Colorado for the spring game. And as we can see by the recent junior day that Colorado just had, and with Williams, Nwaneri coming in for the spring game, we know what kind of blue chip, or we know that Colorado's big game hunting on the recruiting trail, and Williams Nwaneri is one of several elite prospects that I think will be at their spring game.
Steve, Ryan Wingo, that's a prospect that we've talked about at length on this show. #4 ranked wide receiver, someone that continues to add offers. What's the latest with his recruitments, and what is he going to do once the dead period is over and he can get back out on the road?
Yeah, so he's got one visit locked in, Alabama, the first weekend of March. Hank South at Bama Online tells me that's going to be a big recruiting weekend for Alabama that weekend of March 4th. And his dad tells me that they're going to be in Tuscaloosa. Now, Alabama just offered this week, but similar to Williams Nwaneri in Colorado, Alabama's been talking to Ryan Wingo and his family for a while behind the scenes. And he's got a long-standing relationship with new offensive coordinator Tommy Reese, who offered him when he was a freshman at Notre Dame. And Coach Roach has made an impression at Alabama, the area recruiter. So he's going to go check it out. I think Tennessee is in a really good spot for him. He just had a great visit to Colorado at the end of last month. Penn State's impressed him. Clemson is impressed. He's been to Missouri. So he's been making the rounds. Texas A&M, Oregon, a couple others in the mix for Ryan Wingo. Alabama's going to get a chance to make a move first weekend of March.
All right, let's talk some quarterbacks. Georgia already landing 4-star quarterback Ryan Puglisi, but that did not stop them from also offering 4-star quarterback Jake Merklinger. So what did he have to say about that Dogs offer, Steve?
Well, he's pretty excited about getting an offer from the in-state power, and he says he's looking to line up a visit with Georgia this spring. Talking to Dogs 247 insider Rusty Manziel today, as we know, Georgia did not sign a quarterback in the 2023 cycle, so they're in the market for potentially two here in 2024. Love their position with Dylan Raiola, the #1 ranked quarterback in the country in the 2024 cycle. But Jake Merklinger is a guy that if you don't get into those sweepstakes, you may not ever have a chance to land him. Tennessee's done a good job in this recruitment. He was at North Carolina in January. He's going to go back the first weekend of March to watch the Tar Heels take on Duke in that basketball rivalry where he'll get around the coaching staff again. He said he really enjoyed hanging out at Mac Brown's house last month. He's starting to build a relationship with Chip Lindsey over there, and certainly what North Carolina can point to any quarterback right now with Drake May coming back. The Tar Heels are strongly in the mix. Michigan State and Tennessee are other places that Merklinger says he's looking to set up visits with here in the spring as well. But Georgia, they need to hit big at quarterback. Well, to say that the two-time defending national champs need to do anything on the trail is a little bit over the top. But they could use a talented quarterback this cycle, and they're in great position for Dylan Raiola, and they like Merklinger.
Can't count out Mac Brown. He's got that swing simulator in the house, the golf simulator. Steve, 2 recent crystal ball picks for you in favor of South Carolina, a pair of offensive linemen. What do we need to know there?
Well, South Carolina, they recruited a terrific offensive line class in 2023, Drew, as you know, and they're trying to follow it up with maybe one of the best in the 2024 cycle. They have Cam Pringle already in the fold. Blake Franks is an offensive lineman from Greenville, South Carolina. The Gamecocks recently went there and landed top 247 receiver Mazio Bennett out of their former Tennessee commit. Now they're trying to beat Clemson for Blake Franks. This has been a back and forth recruitment, but I really like where the Gamecocks stand with him. And then you have Josiah Thompson, who's our #2 ranked offensive tackle in the country. He's the #1 player in the state from Dillon High School there in Alabama, Clemson, Georgia. All those programs are strongly in the mix for him. But I think South Carolina's in really good position for him as well. And if they can add Franks and Thompson to Pringle, that would be massive additions. And if you go to those young men's social media after Pringle committed, Both of them tweeted photos of them with Pringle saying, congrats, all decked out in South Carolina gear. Maybe they'll be wearing it together for years to come.
All right, we'll see. We have some more Gamecock talk later in the show. For now, though, a few more quarterbacks coming off the board over the last few days. The latest was Anthony Maddox. He committed to Texas A&M right here on the 24/7 Sports YouTube page last night. So, Steve, what can the Aggies look forward to with him?
Well, I like this pickup for Texas A&M to go into the state of Mississippi and land a guy that threw for over 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns, added close to 400 more rushing yards. And when you turn on his film, I think you see a guy that's a fluid, athletic, twitchy quarterback with a live arm, quick release. There's some throws on there that really pop. You know, he puts the ball downfield with zip. You see some really nice touch throws, some really high-level plays on his tape. And Texas A&M, you know, this is a guy that Bobby Petrino and Jimbo Fisher keyed in on. Got him to, he visited Texas A&M during the season. They got him back in January, and now he's in the fold and ready to help the Aggies build on their class.
You mentioned Bobby Petrino. He compared the kid to Lamar Jackson. I think you can see a little bit of that in the tape. Another quarterback that came off the board over the weekend, Walker White, on Friday. He commits to Auburn, number 8 ranked quarterback. This is a guy that can run the RPOs. He's big, he's physical. Steve, do you think this could be a possible bell cow for Hugh Freeze and the Tigers?
Well, Andrew, you and I met him for the first time together at the All-America Bowl National Combine 2 years ago. Not this past year, but 2 Januaries ago, and he looked like he went to Auburn right then and there, didn't he? I mean, he is as physically ready or as physically imposing a quarterback as I've seen in doing this job. But he's 6'4", 218 pounds, and as you said, can run that RPO offense, has a really strong arm. Auburn beating Clemson and Baylor here at the end, but also had offers from Alabama, Oklahoma, among others. And when you look at Auburn, they have their best recruiting class since 2018 this cycle on really short notice for this staff led by Hugh Freeze to now get a full cycle to win a recruiting battle like they just did for Walker White over Clemson. I think it shows the kind of potential recruiting chops that we can picture for Auburn. We've seen Auburn as high as number 12 in the standings over the last 5 to 7 cycles, and I think now that's their potential moving forward. Auburn goes from being an overlooked hat on the table to a realistic player when blue chippers list them moving forward with them beating Clemson for Walker White.
Andrew, what do you think of Walker White?
Oh, he's a big guy. I mean, if you're looking for a Tim Tebow in this class, I know I just said Lamar Jackson, all these crazy player comps, but I just watched one of his games right before we came on the show, and he improvises. He loves to lower his shoulder, and he can make some impressive throws. So I think it fits exactly what Hugh Freeze wanted to do. I mean, remember he had Malik Willis when he was at Liberty, a guy that also ran for over 1,000 yards. I think this is a perfect fit. And when he committed on Friday, I mean, I was off. I thought the kid was possibly headed to Clemson. I said, hey, this is the perfect Auburn type of quarterback, and I think he's a guy that will be able to recruit some of his peers. So nice pickup for the Tigers as they look to kind of figure things out under center long term.
Tim Tebow had those elite leadership qualities, and I think, you know, to say that someone's that kind of leader is tough to put on someone this early. But Walker White, when he committed, he named like 20 players. He was committing to Auburn. His high school coach talked about the kind of leader he is for them, and he certainly has all those intangibles coveted at the position.
Yep, intangibles is the word, especially when it comes to quarterbacks. Steve, thank you so much for joining us here. Hey, check out new episodes of the Wiltfong Whip Around every Monday and Friday on the 24/7 Sports YouTube.